Spiral Dynamics Aubergine, the search is over. Hello, this is Shores of Infinity with a video about Spiral Dynamics Aubergine, the sixth and last color of the second tier in Ken Wilber terms, clear light. What is this color about? I already made videos about the first 6 colors. So the 6 colors of the first tier, and the first 5 colors of the second tier: yellow, turquoise, coral, teal, and plum. And now aubergine. Already plum is a quite neutral color, meaning the main sensation and experience is one of neutrality. Teal can be one of all kinds of mystical experiences, just as turquoise can be, but even more so. Coral is very disillusioned and frustrated. Teal can be very comfortable. Plum is very neutral. You start to see through the veils of illusion to the Maya, through the matrix, and it's also disillusionment like coral, but you don't care anymore. It's like, okay, you can see the illusion now. Interesting. Everything is interesting, everything is equal, nothing is better or worse. This is already, teal and plum is already what most people call enlightenment. A friend of mine and I, we call it done now. You feel kind of done. But then in aubergine, there's even more. Aubergine or clear light is even more than it. How can it be even more than that? Your experiences, you can see through most of the veils of illusion. Unfortunately, not all of them. And here you really have the impression the search is over. And as Tony Parsons likes to put it, there is no I. The I is finally dying, or has finally died. There's nothing left. There's only experiencing. There's no experiencer and nothing experienced. There's no object and subject. There's only experiencing. You don't need an I to experience it. It's all part of Maya. So here you have the feeling that the search is over. And mostly the search is over not because there's nothing more to find, but because you see that the search was part of Maya. The whole idea of enlightenment was part of Maya. It was bait, it was clickbait, so to say. And once you reach this, what I call enlightenment, or full enlightenment, is Hawkins scale 700 and more, finest location 10 and more, and Spiral Dynamics aubergine and more. Yes, there's even more beyond aubergine. But you don't care anymore. The search is over because you see that the whole enlightenment game, the whole guru game, is part of Maya. I'm sorry to say that, but it's part of Maya. So it is very much not understandable how people call themselves Shari and Ma and whatnot, and Meher and Maha and so on. There's nothing great about it. There's nothing lordly about it. There's nothing holy about it. Yes, you can see through the veils, or see through most of the veils of the Maya illusions. But it could be infinite. It could be an infinite number of veils. Even if you get to the end, to Hawkins scale 1000, which is by definition the last step, the last stage, the last state that is available or accessible to human beings. This might not be the last veil, that might be the last veil that is accessible to lift or to drop for human beings, but not in the world as such. The world as such is Maya. So everything we see, everything we perceive, everything we experience is Maya. Because that's all we have. We only have our experiences. We only have our sensations. That's it. Yes, we have also feelings and thoughts, but we know that they can be manipulated very easily. But sensations and experiences, maybe less. Still, they're subject to input. So the last stage you can find is to look inside, to explore the inner worlds, to really sense what is going on in your body. Even if you imagine your body, even if that is an illusion too, there are some sensations going on. And even that can come from any kind of and any number of triggers and manipulations and Maya aspects and veils. So aubergine is a total disillusionment, a total surrender, a total letting go, a total death, a total capitulation to the power of Maya, which of course is part of the, whatever you call it, universe, divine, God, whatever you want to call it. It's part of that. And the I, the me, is also part of that. You and I, we're part of Maya. Everything and every living being, human or non-human, is part of Maya. There's nothing that is not Maya. So, that is the disillusionment of enlightenment. And most people who claim to be enlightened, or to whom enlightenment is ascribed to, are not there. And even if you're there, you can still fall into the trap of calling yourself Shri or Ma or whatever. To my knowledge, there have only been 2 or maybe 3 people who said, okay, this is how it is. It's not what you expect. It's not what you're looking for. It's not what you want. You cannot want enlightenment because it's total disillusionment. It's like being alone in the desert. And those were UG, Jed McKenna, and the third one may be David Cass with his book, Perfect, Brilliant Stillness. Those are the 3 big surrenderers. They surrendered to the fact that there is nothing else there than Maya. Jed McKenna even called his dog Maya, because Maya is always there. It's ever present. That you cannot escape Maya. Enlightenment is not an escape of Maya. It's a surrender to Maya, and the knowledge, but not the mental knowledge, the experiential knowledge, the ever-present awareness that everything is Maya and that there's no escaping. And then when you accept that all is Maya and that there is no escape, there is no solution, there is no complete freedom possible, there is no superpower, there is no Neo, there is no Hercules, there is no Superman, then something can shift. There's a sort of freedom, but it's not a freedom from Maya. It's a freedom from trying to escape, a freedom from looking for something, a freedom from hope, a freedom from fear. Because there's nothing to fear. You died already. There's nothing to fear anymore. and there's nothing to hope for anymore because it's already at an end. And this is why the search is over, and this is aubergine. And this is not the end. There are stages and states beyond that, but it doesn't matter anymore because there's no one left to look for them or to enjoy them. And even the intense neutrality of Plum cannot be compared to the disillusionment and the capitulation of aubergine. And it seems to be the end, just as green seems to be the end. The people who are centered in green cannot imagine what comes beyond that inclusivity of green, that rebellion of green. So equally in aubergine, you cannot imagine what comes beyond, what could possibly come beyond this final and ultimate and absolute surrender and capitulation of aubergine, which is at the same time a giving in and a rebellion, an inclusivity and a singularity. A bit similar to green, but not in a social or personality or nationality or internationality way. It's in a global way, to see that everything is Maya, everything is one veil or another, one illusion or another of this big infinite holodeck. So everything collapses. Every faith, every hope, every thought, every emotion, it all collapses. It's like drowning, like in the movie All Is Lost. And then, who knows what happens afterwards, and it doesn't really matter. If this is a real physical death or not, it doesn't matter, because all hope for a better life, all hope for freedom and peace via enlightenment is gone. And also there's the realization that the search for enlightenment is often a trauma response. It's a kind of spiritual megalomania, because the ego feels that it is powerless, that it has no power and no chance. So you turn it around and you think, okay, if I can't get anything done in the material world, maybe it can be a master or a mistress in the spiritual world and be free there. But it's not possible. That can lead to a dissociation from the body, which is already probably the cause of it anyway, that you dissociated from your body because of some childhood trauma. And now you're trying to disassociate even more. So there's a connection between trauma and the search for enlightenment. And the end of hope, the total surrender, is the end of the search and the end of the trauma. You see that there's nothing to fix, only to accept. And then enlightenment becomes meaningless. Yeah, let's call it enlightenment or let's not call it enlightenment. Who cares? It's not what do you think it is. It's not what I thought it was. It is a sort of freedom, but it's not the freedom from or of something. It's just a sort of emptiness, a sort of death, and a sort of acceptance of surrender, total surrender. And yes, it's cool that there's no more fear, because what could possibly happen that's worse? But you will not be a Superman. You will not become Neo and fly through the air and stop machines by your willpower. This whole concept of willpower, of power in general, is also part of the illusion. It's part of the delusion of grandeur, of the megalomania, of the spiritual search. And whatever comes beyond that, we will see. There's some gurus and anti-gurus like Yuji and Tony Parsons who say there's nothing beyond that. That's it. Who knows? We'll see. And we'll report on it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me as a patron. Thank you for all my patrons who already joined. Thank you for giving me a thumbs up if you like this kind of content, which is unlikely because it's not selling anything and not giving any hope. And subscribe if you want more hopeless videos. See you soon.